You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Young and the Restless fans. We want to talk about some situations cooking right now on Young and the Restless and 5 huge twists that we think would be great if Y&R would enact into the current front burner storylines that we think could really shake everything up and would be really surprising for fans. This is just us thinking out loud in the Soap Dirt Writers Room, but we have got some ideas for Diane Jenkins, for Nick and Sally, for Cameron Kirsten, even though he's dead, for Victor Newman, and also for Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles. We're going to dig into all that. Hey, if you haven't already, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Young and the Restless spoilers, casting news, all the good stuff. All right, so huge twist number 1 we want to talk about. Could it be possible that Diane Jenkins is running a long con on Jack Abbott and she has not really changed? This would be a great twist, first of all, because it would just be fun, because Jack has fallen for her again, hook, line, and sinker. There's fans in 2 camps. One is that thinks she really has changed, and then there's another hardcore group of fans who do not think she's changed and do think that she is somehow up to something. So that would be a whole lot of fun. And that means there would be a lot more of just aggressive plotting Diane. You know, that would be really, really great. It would also vindicate Phyllis. It would vindicate Ashley. And it would open the door to a Phyllis and Jack reunion, aka a FAC reunion, if she was actually conning him. Now, I don't think there's any argument to be made for her working with her ex-boyfriend. I do not believe for one second she was working with Jeremy Stark. She seemed legitimately scared of him. But that doesn't mean that she's not working her own independent angle and she hasn't come back to town for some nefarious reason. She is about to get a cushy Jabot executive job. Maybe that's her end game. I think it'd be just really fun if Diane Jenkins turned out to be just rotten still. And again, she seems genuine and everything. And, you know, she probably really has changed. But I just think it would be fun if she was bad again, right? All right. Number 2 twist that we think would be super interesting on Young and the Restless right now is for Nick Newman to find out that Sally Spectra's baby that she lost was actually his and not Adam Newman's. So we have been talking about this for a while, that we think it's possible that Victoria Newman changed the paternity test. And the reason that she would do that is to try and get Sally away from Nick, try to prevent there being a lifelong bond between them if they had a child. And Victoria probably also thought that if the baby was shown to be Adam's, that would possibly taint Adam in Victor's eyes, because she knows that Victor can't stand Sally. So if Victoria Newman changed the test, and then, you know, with the baby dying, there is no way I think that she would tell Nick that she did it, because that would devastate him, because then he wouldn't have been there for this loss of a baby that was biologically his. Of course, he's still feeling sorry for Sally for the ordeal she's gone through and Adam, but that is totally different. However, it could come out where Victoria confides in Nate Hastings, or she's talking about it, I don't know, maybe to her mom, to somebody, but I think she would more likely tell Nate, and then Nate and Audra find a way to use this reveal to seed sods of discord between the family members, which they obviously want to do. And imagine how bizarre and kind of shocking that would be, because Adam is devastated right now. And then if it turned out the baby wasn't his, then how does that change how he processes his grief? Because he was attached to the baby anyway. It would just be kind of interesting and twisty. All right, our number 3 twist that we think could be fun, and this is not our idea, this is coming from Sharon Case, who plays Sharon Newman, is there a possibility that Cameron Kirsten has an even eviler twin? In a recent interview where Sharon Case was talking with Linden Ashby, who plays Cameron Kirsten, and they were being interviewed with Michael Fairman, Sharon Case laughed and said, because it's a soap opera, dead isn't always dead, and wouldn't it be fun if Cameron had a twin? And Linden Ashby said he thought that would be very funny. Our twist on this is he shouldn't be a good twin. He should be an even eviler twin, because if there is a good twin and a bad twin, obviously Cameron would be the bad one. But what if there was somebody worse? I mean, he killed a cat and he put a bomb vest on a teenager. What could be worse than that? Might be fun to find out. All right, our number 4 twist that we think would be just diabolical on Y&R right now is if it turns out that Victor Newman caused Sally's miscarriage. Now, while that seems extreme, first of all, I want to remind you that Victor has done worse things than this before. He basically let Phyllis be raped for a year because he stole her husband and moved a drug dealer that looked like him into his place. Victor has tried to kill people. He set his own son up for murder. There's a lot he has done. So could it be possible that Victor was drugging Sally, hoping that he might cause this miscarriage or doing something with her blood pressure? Maybe he thought he might kill her and the baby both. Because she wouldn't agree to take his bribe and leave town, and she wasn't willing to take his bribe and leave the baby behind and go, he might have just completely lost his patience. Victor thought he was losing control of both of his sons because of Sally, because both Adam and Nick seemed to be under her spell as far as Victor was concerned. And maybe he decided it was preferable to killing her and or the baby to letting her be a mom to a Newman kid and being in their lives forever, because he definitely didn't want that. And we also have to remember that it wasn't that long ago, a year or two, when, remember, Adam was drugging Victor. He was tampering with some of his medications, and he swore he wasn't trying to kill his dad, but this is just typical antics that Newmans get into. And we do have some spoilers saying that Adam goes dark, but it would be interesting if Victor beat him to the punch and had already gone dark, and that he was the reason that this tragedy befell Sally Spectra. Our number 5 twist that we think would be super fun on Young and the Restless is Kyle Abbott knocking up Audra Charles. So they chatted and they definitely had some chemistry. Kyle is really upset at Summer for lying about her mom in order to keep his mom in jail, and Audra made it very clear that she is into him. And if she did get the chance to hop in bed with him, I would imagine that scheming Audra would want to make sure that he can't reconcile with Summer. So if she intentionally got pregnant, then that would be great for her in many ways. She and Nate would have influence in both the Abbott and the Newman families. She's lost Tucker and Nate's kind of out of her reach, so she might grasp for Kyle and intentionally get pregnant, fake a pregnancy, have somebody else get her pregnant, tell Kyle that it's his. There's lots of options for a girl like her. Hey, if you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Young and the Restless spoilers, casting news, and fun videos like this. Just a quick rundown, because we'd love to hear which ideas of twists that you like best. Number 1, Diane is running a long con on Jack. Number 2, Nick finds out Sally's baby was his. Number 3, Cameron Kirsten has an eviler twin. Number 4, Victor caused Sally's miscarriage. Number 5, Kyle knocks up Audra Charles. What do you think?
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.